Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Francis Ford Coppola is a 5-time Oscar winner thanks to masterpieces like the Godfather movies and Apocalypse Now. His new film, Megalopolis, is a passion project, decades in the making. It's in theaters and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Francis Ford Coppola labels this film as a fable. It's a cautionary tale as told through the lens of the fall of the Roman Empire. Yes, it would probably help to know that story going in here. Now, he sets this in the 21st century, the third millennium, in New Rome, which is clearly what we think of as New York City today. Adam Driver leads this really large ensemble as Caesar Catalina. He's a Nobel Prize-winning inventor whose latest project involves rebuilding the city for a sustainable and environmentally friendly for future generations. His rival is current Mayor Franklin Cicero, who's played by Giancarlo Esposito, who has his own ideas for how the future should be run. Now, they represent the very real notion of two people who want to run the city and have two vastly different visions for how to achieve that. Caesar is obsessive, compulsive, and won't stop at making his dreams come true. Now, Cicero's daughter, Julia, who's played by Nathalie Emmanuel, becomes infatuated with Caesar, going so far as to even marrying him and really going against her father's wishes. It sounds messy enough, and then Caesar's cousin Claudio, who's played by Shia LaBeouf, enters the picture as something of kind of an influencer, this disruptor, ready to shake things up, blackmail Caesar, and start his own revolution. The film also stars Aubrey Plaza, Jon Voight, Jason Schwartzman, and Kathryn Hunter. Francis Ford Coppola has spent 40 years writing, rewriting, and financing this behemoth of a story that I try to break down as best as possible. Knowing that he's been tinkering around with the screenplay can only mean that I think that each version of this film has changed based on the current events of the time that he's writing it. You can kind of see that disjointedness on screen. Shia LaBeouf's character is meant to be this wild card, I think Trump-like figure who's messy and volatile. There are red "Make Rome Great Again" hats that are strewn about in the final act. There's an urgency at stake, as you can feel Coppola really throwing everything into this film, knowing that it could be the last movie that he makes. This is truly an experience like none other in its execution. I think that trying to make sense of it in a practical way could just make your head spin on the first viewing. Coppola uses Lawrence Fishburne as the film's narrator. Driver's character Caesar stops time. And the costume and the design elements are all kind of a blend of futuristic while still kind of having that Roman touch to them. This is a fable, so the characters are larger-than-life symbols of society archetypes. It's kind of a hodgepodge, like I said, of everything kind of thrown at the screen, from mixed medium, animation, split screen, special effects, and my screening had a live presentation in it, where an actor literally stood in front of the movie theater screen, pretending to be a reporter, asking Adam Driver a question. Now, that can be done with every screening of this movie ever, so it just is an interesting touch. Driver is a strong presence throughout, really commanding Caesar's drive for what he thinks best, and Caesar comes with his own checkered past. Giancarlo Esposito is always great as the antagonist, but he never veers into maniacal or cartoony. On the other side of that spectrum is Aubrey Plaza, who is another standout, playing a TV reporter named Wow Platinum. She certainly lives up to her name and nails the over-the-top nature of what a reporter does to get ahead. Now, throughout all of this, Coppola wants his audience to ponder about the future and ask questions about what's at stake. He says things like, time is a funny thing to understand, and do we just accept endless conflict? Those are just two of the many questions asked and debated. The moviegoer will have to decide if it's all too pretentious, if any of it works, and if they're just willing to go along for the ride. It's not a terribly long movie, but I do think that the last 45 minutes or so really starts to drag when it should have the most topical potency. It reminded me of going to experimental theater where a troupe of really strong actors are given a task and that the end result is unlike anything that you've ever seen. You like that you went on the ride, but you don't really quite pinpoint if it totally works. I'm giving Megalopolis 3 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. Some of their movie reviews, some celebrity interviews. I recently sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix, so check out those interviews. Follow me on social media at Paul's Movie Trip. I'd love to hear from you. Are you excited about Megalopolis? Are you weary about it? I just got to know your thoughts when you see this movie, so leave me a comment on social media at Paul's Movie Trip. And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Megalopolis. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.